Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Articulated Comic Book Art Podcast. This is episode 13, 14?
14.
14. So we here. We got our regular crew. We got a jam-packed episode, pause. And we got our regular crew, like I said, my man Colonel Crackers, Emiya
What's up?
Starlock, Pharaoh Black, Rick Dom.
What up?
Somebody's got their YouTube on. I'm sure it's Emiya.
Nah, it's you.
Not me because I'm muted.
Oh, it is me. All right, we good to go.
Let's do it.
What's up? It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
We took off another week last week. Where everybody, me and Pharaoh had some things to take care of, and we just couldn't get our shit together last week, I guess. But we back, and this past week I picked up quite a few things. A lot of things came yesterday actually, and then I posted them to my Instagram. I got the and I didn't open any of the stuff yet, but I got the finally got the T1000. I got the Star Wars Mafex Vader. Finally got that as well. I got the Boba Fett on pre-order. That'll probably be the only Star Wars joints I get from Mafex is those two. I got my hot rod. I had two of those. One of them was for my man Dave DX. I got the premium colored trunks. I finally got the Luke Skywalker, the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, and I picked up another what you call that, Daredevil, the Walgreens exclusive Daredevil. I needed another one of those. I think I got a couple of more things. I finished off the Onslaught wave, so I built Onslaught, and I think that was it for me. What about you, Pharaoh? Word?
Oh, yeah, I didn't get much. I got a new dio. Well, part of a new dio. I don't know. I think the mail carrier might have lost one of my boxes, so I can't put the whole thing together. It's about 2.5 feet tall, but I can't really put it together, like I said. But I don't think I don't think I got anything else really. There really wasn't a lot out there for me to pick up. That was pretty easy. I pre-ordered a bunch of shit though. Oh, I got the Kratos figure a week or so back.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get it yet, but it's on the way.
Yeah, that figure's pretty nice. And that's pretty much about it though. I didn't get much else.
I only got it because you and like two other people was like, "Yo, you should definitely pick that joint up." So I was like,
Yeah. I mean, like I said when I called you and shit, even if you don't care about the game or you don't even care about the character, just have it anyway, man. That's one of those pieces that when it's gone, you're gonna wish you had it for trade or anything. I mean, you're gonna wish you had that piece, though, man. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, I got that Kratos this week too. Actually, I got it right in front of me. I'm posing it around. It's a really good piece. I mean, a lot of people are really impressed by it. And again, I don't really actually play the game either. I only watched a friend play it because I used to live at his house and he had a PlayStation, so I wasn't really into playing it myself. But it's definitely like a real good eye candy game. It's a really well loved game, in fact, like the whole franchise. So the figure itself is it's pretty great. It's got a lot of cool features like the holster on the back and how they include the little peg holes to cover or the little pegs to cover the peg holes. If you take the holster off his bag, is a nice feature. It is missing a couple things, like Pharaoh pointed out a little bit ago, with like the flaming chain effect would have been really cool to have. But overall, man, it's a really nice piece. I'm pretty impressed by it, and it's fucking huge. It's really tall, even for a NECA figure. I got the new series of aliens, which was the two xenomorphs from Alien vs. Predator, the Grid Alien and the Warrior. And I went ahead and grabbed 3 Warriors already, so I'm starting to build that army, because they're eventually going to make a Alien vs. Predator Queen, so I want to have my hive ready for that. And then that wave also included the prototype Big Chap, which was the clear translucent variant. And it's basically what the suit was going to look like in the movie before they painted it black, because the light wasn't catching correctly on film, so they had to change the color of it. And it's basically just a cast of the big chat, but it's pretty cool. And when I went to Frankenstein to pick it up, there was this guy at the booth talking about it, and he knows a lot fucking more about Alien than even I do. And he was telling me how there's like even 4 variants of this particular prototype suit, because there's a few of them are a little cloudier than they are translucent as far as like the paint deco on top of the clear plastic, and that can create like something of a difference between the figures. But also they have 2 different mouths. Like one of them has the lip more curled up than the other. And he was talking to me about this, and it was blowing my mind because I was like, "Fuck, even I don't notice that kind of thing." So it's a good piece. And in addition to that, on NECA's eBay, they have a re-release of the original Big Chap from, I think it was Series 3, but it's got a reworked mouth with longer teeth and slightly better plastic, and the deco is just a little bit different. It's a little more brown than the original release. And it was originally a Walmart exclusive sort of thing, kind of like they did with RoboCop and with the Terminator endoskeleton, and comes with like a nice window box. But overall, it's just a better version of the Big Chap they put out a couple series ago. So it was only like $20 on their eBay, so I just got it because my other Big Chap's a little loose at the joints. This one's definitely better. That same day, I also got Frankenstein a Marvel Legends Namor, which I think is Series 2. That shit is old, but it's a good piece. Actually, I think it still holds up. And I know there's the new one coming out from Hasbro, which is like what, a Walgreens exclusive or something. But I wanted this like classic looking Namor because the one that's coming out soon is going to be more modern. I got a couple WWE figures. I got Sami Zayn and Tyson Kidd actually just yesterday. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like the NXT belts, nice and shiny. And Tyson Kidd, may his neck rest in peace, because I don't think he's ever coming back.
No, I doubt it.
What happened to him?
He was wrestling a dark match, which is the match that they wrestle on Raw after the camera is shut off and it's just for the people in the stadium. He was wrestling against Samoa Joe, who's an NXT guy, and Samoa Joe did his finisher, and he landed right on his neck and basically almost died. There's like a 5% chance of someone not dying from that kind of injury, and he was like right in that 5%.
Yeah, he's Bret Hart's boy, and Bret was pissed. He's raising all kinds of hell.
So wait, did he get paralyzed or some shit or what?
He's dangerously close.
Yeah. He seems fine on Total Divas. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a shit show, but at least it shows you some of the behind-the-scenes stuff with him, like in recovery still. So it's cool. He's not a fucking sad mess like they made him out to be on the show. It was like a whole storyline, cheesy as hell. And then finally, figure-wise, I got Comic Bug. My local comic shop they had a fucking huge pile of like vintage toys, or what they call vintage, but it's really like early 2000s stuff, like the X-Men line from the first movie. They had a bunch of figures from that, but they also had a couple X-Files figures, and one of them was the tank thing with the burned man inside of it. I have no idea what the hell it is, but it's like a gummy body and like a
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
tank. So I got that. It was $5, and the tank is really cool, just for scenes, whatever. But I like the little man inside too, because he's like a really emaciated, almost dead-looking thing. So I'm gonna paint it like a bright red with some dark highlights and make it look like a Predator trophy, like skin hanging from a tree or something. So that's gonna look real nice. And finally, I got a new Detolf. So all that fun stuff I just mentioned is finally gonna have some place to go. And it's my 4th one now. And the lights were a bitch to put through, like they always are. But overall, it's you can't beat a fucking display in a Detolf, especially when you have those clear risers that I have. I ordered some more of those as well. Should be coming sometime this week. So lots more room for activities. And that's about it for me. So Emiya, let's hear it. Oh, he's dead again.
Did somebody say? Okay. Oh yeah. I got a decent amount of stuff this week, but since I had a lot of work drama and real life drama, I didn't really have a chance to go through a lot of it. The only thing I really got to mess with, I bought 6 Hot Rods, because Hot Rod's like my favorite character.
6 fucking Hot Rods?
Yeah, and I have like 3 more coming, so 9 Hot Rods.
Oh my god.
I'm probably not going to keep all of them. I'll probably end up just selling some of them to like local people, but I'll probably keep like 4 of them, probably. Then some of the other stuff that came out this month, like some of the Tamashi Web stuff, the Macross metal high metal R Regaults. I was army building those, and I think I bought 9 of those. What else is there? All the Kamen Rider Decade, the version 2.0, the beta renewal one. And some other things. There's some other the Ryu statue, the Pop Culture Shock one, the Unsatsuken version, and the Battle Damage version. I bought those 2 as well. I don't know if I should have bought the Battle Damage version because essentially it's the same thing as the. Well, he has a torn up gi, but it's. I don't know. It feels kind of almost redundant to have 2 of the same style. I mean, this one has like the bruises painted on and everything, but I don't know. I mean, I'll probably keep them both because I love Ryu. And I was actually planning to actually stop collecting the PCS Street Fighter line, the mixed media version, because on the mixed media they're doing another quarter scale line, which is more dynamic. And I was actually thinking about just collecting just that line from now on, because then at this point I have like these like 3 or 4 quarter scale size figures of like every character. It just kind of take up a lot of space. So, so I decided at this point I'm probably just gonna collect my favorite characters in the mixed media line and probably just continue going onward with just dynamic PCS line quarter scale. So, but yeah, I got other stuff as well, but I haven't. So I've been very busy this week, so I haven't had any chance to really go through any of it. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on with me.
Are those new Street Fighter figures coming out? Are those going to be mixed media, or are those just plastic?
No, those are not mixed media. How about the Storm Collectibles ones? Those are just those are just standard sculpted, 100% sculpted.
Okay.
There's no claw, any of that stuff.
Aren't those the same people that are doing the Mortal Kombat's though?
Yes. They're doing the Mortal Kombat figures in that kind of similar. They say it's 112 scale, but again, it's actually closer to 110 scale if you actually see it in person.
And those are also sculpted?
Those are all also 100% sculpted.
Okay.
The only thing that they have that has any kind of cloth on it at all is just a 1/6 scale, like Mike Tyson, that they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. But everything else, like those smaller figures they do are all sculpted, 100%. So.
Ricardo, where you at?
What up? Well, I just went to a toy show yesterday. Actually, I bought a bunch of random shit. I bought a bunch of odds and ends from stuff that I need. I got the Elite Sami Zayn, just like Fabio. I got that Elite Sami Zayn. Got Bailey. I got that one. I don't remember how old it is, but I know it's not that recent. That Bella Twins 2-pack.
The red outfit or the green?
The green.
Okay, that's the one I got.
Yeah, I got that one. I was telling Emiya last night. This freaking seller had I don't know if you guys seen these like really random Figma figures that are like mascots from baseball teams in Japan. They're really random.
A bear and some other stuff.
Yeah, they're like a bear and like a lion and stuff like that.
Not a lion, tiger.
Man, get out of here. Same thing.
Tiger.
Some guy friggin' had them for like $3 a piece. And,
I bought all of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I bought 6. I bought 2 of each.
Great. I'll be sending you money for one.
It was hilarious. I was there at the booth and I was telling the guy like, hey man, how much you want for these Figmas right here? And he just hits me with like, what? And I'm like, man, the Figmas, how much do you want each Figma? What? And I was like, the baseball guys. Oh, the baseball. Oh yeah, $3 a piece. I was like, what the hell? Okay, well, I'll take them all. And that was some random pickup from yesterday. What else did I end up buying at the toy show? I was going to buy a Taskmaster, but thankfully Boog's homie and a friend of mine, Dave BX, ended up finding me a Taskmaster, so I didn't need to end up buying a new one.
Well, that's what's up.
I have that Masterpiece Hot Rod coming in too, but I didn't buy 6 of them. But I did get one. If I could buy 6 of them, I suppose I would. But I don't really.
Pictures that I've seen so far look nice.
Oh yeah. Looks really good.
I don't like the backpack kibble on it.
Well, I mean, that's been an issue.
There's no way you could avoid the backpack kibble though, because it's just the way he transforms. The only way you'd be able to do it if you basically just remove that entire roof and window and everything. I guess they could make it collapse more. I guess the problem is the price would be higher.
Emiya
I
just saying that because he a hot rod fanboy.
I was saying he's a hot rod fan.
I mean, I think the only real complaint, and it's just more of a personal thing. I do dislike the fact that he's so flat in the chest. I wish there was like a little more layering on the chest so it didn't
In
look as
person,
flat.
it's actually not as bad as it looks in the picture. Honestly, it's actually not as bad.
What's funny is that everybody tells me the opposite, that it's even worse in person.
Actually, I think it's fine. I think the worst thing mostly is just the backpack, but again, that can't really be. There's almost no way you could do that and keep it at that price. And then besides that, I think his body is a little bit big versus his head. The head's a little bit small, but even that, once you have it posed and everything, it actually looks fine, in my opinion. I mean, it could be better, of course. It's not 100% perfect, but it is pretty good.
Yeah. What else did I get? I got some random little odds and ends from online. You know, some statues and um, none of those Street Fighter ones. You know, which I told Keiyo, you know, he should just buy everything that comes out. You know, just go all in.
I
And,
can't do it.
oh man, come on, man. I didn't really get much else. I was kind of holding back for this toy show that we had yesterday, and I just ended up buying a few random things that I needed here and there.
Oh, you know what? I did get Earth 23 Superman.
Oh yeah, I need that one. I need that one.
Which one's that?
It's the Black Superman.
African
Oh.
American.
Man, it's Superman from Earth 23. Of course, that man is black. Yeah. I also well, this is something I actually got. I got another Figma Guts from Berserk.
Okay.
So now I can make a bloody version and a regular version. And I think that was it. I think that's all I got for this week. That's all I've been up to. You know, just holding back, waiting for this con. You know, not this weekend, but next weekend we got coming up. A few of us admins are going to be together. Dallas, David Walton, Todd Ortiz. You know, we're all going to be meeting up for Silicon Valley Comic Con. This big event that the co-creator of Apple, Steve Wozniak, is throwing. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't wait for Silicon Valley to come back. Totally off topic, but that's what I was reminded of.
Oh yeah, that show's great.
Is that it? Anyone else not spend money this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it for all of us for this past few weeks that we've been out.
Yeah, I let all my shit pile up. I've got boxes and boxes of all the stuff I bought in the last couple weeks just sitting right here next to me.
Oh yeah, that's what I got too. I got that new Elite Austin. I was opening it on chat with you and Pharaoh earlier.
Oh, the
Got that
Defining
Elite
Moments
Austin.
one, right?
Yeah, I got it from Amazon. I know it's going to be pretty easy, readily available, but it was up on Amazon for Prime for, you know, retail. So I just thought, why not? And I ended up getting it. I paid for it yesterday. I got it today. So
They do a good job of keeping those well stocked because those Undertakers are still flooding. I still see Razor Ramones and Stings from time to time.
Yeah, Undertaker, Sting, Razor Ramon, those all stay on the shelves pretty well.
I actually stashed one of the Steve Austins in one of the rafters of my true, so whenever I'm ready,
Man,
there it
hell
is.
yeah.
If only he came with like a beer can or something. I mean, I know they can't, but that'd still be sweet.
Yeah. I love the belts that this new one comes with. You know, finally. You know, that other one was like everyone's obsession, and now we have this new one. You know, nicer sculpt, belts. It's money, man. I do, Pharaoh, I don't think we can hear you right now. I think you're muted.
I said I was thinking that it was just the same Steve Austin figure. I didn't really know. You know, I don't collect wrestling like that, so I didn't think that anything was actually different. Because I see the Big Boss Man and my guy he collects, and he just said it was the same figure.
No, yeah, the other Steve Austin had the shorts and
The jorts, yeah.
he had the jean shorts. He had different knee pads. This time he comes with like this is like the Steve Austin where like his knees are bad and he's wearing like the brace knee pads, and he's wearing the trunks instead of the shorts.
I wonder if that thing would fit on a Batman figure.
What fits
The
on the
knee
Batman
brace?
figure?
I said I wonder if that knee brace would fit on like a if I made a
Probably.
why would it fit on it?
Might be a
Be,
little
being
big.
being the DCUC are so big, it could be possible. Definitely wouldn't fit on something like a Marvel Legends, but being the DCUC are a bit bigger. I guess depending on the figure, it could potentially fit. Especially if you're using on like an older Batman, you have the Dark Knight Returns one,
Then I'm gonna try that.
looking all raggedy with like shit, my leg.
Right.
I think the skull decals on his vest in this new release are a little better too, because the
Yeah,
Hall of Fame one's
they're a
a
lot
little
cleaner.
cartoony.
They're a lot cleaner than the old one for sure.
And in this new one, he learned to take the jean shorts off, man. You
Yeah,
gotta
no,
learn to
no,
take them off.
no more, no more. Your dad has the day off on a Saturday jean shorts.
He's wearing like car wash clothes. That's how you wash your car, is in jean
Yeah,
shorts.
you wash your car.
What's wrong with jean shorts?
Hey man, I wear jean shorts too. I'm just saying,
No,
You don't imagine like a
been,
badass wrestler. When you think badass wrestler, kicking ass, taking names, shoving shit sideways, you don't think like, yeah, jean shorts.
It works one of two ways. You could either say that Dee's once boyfriend on Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the jean shorts looks like John Cena, or John Cena looks like that guy when they're wearing the jean shorts. And I'm inclined to think it's the latter. Jean shorts are not badass in any way.
They're comfortable. Let's
Oh yeah,
keep it real.
especially if you let them fray at the bottom, so you get a nice.
It's just like Kevin Owens now. He's wearing like the basketball shorts.
Yeah,
You're just like, man, you look like you're getting ready for a pickup game of ball right now at the local.
Well, I
park.
mean, it depends on the wrestler. Brock Lesnar looks way more badass in fight shorts than he ever did in the trunks.
Oh yeah, not even close.
Have you seen that?
What else happened this week? So, didn't some biggest drop? The Legends showed up and
Oh yeah.
Right, in the Philippines.
Yeah, they showed up in the Philippines. We got Advocate Pinoy who's already filmed unboxing. He put together the Giant Man live while he was unboxing and stuff like that.
It looks pretty nice.
They should be hitting here within the next 2 weeks to a month. So we're getting this stuff pretty quick. I recommend anyone that is wanting anything from the Onslaught wave to go out and hunt it now, because once that new wave hits, you're not going to get that old one popping up too readily anymore.
I wasn't too impressed. Well, the Black Panther impressed me. That head sculpt is really nice.
Man, those hands are terrible though.
You say what?
Those hands for Black Panther, terrible.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that.
Them arthritis hands. Whew.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But the cap, I don't know. I'm just so far over that cap. Like, fuck it. But the Ant-Man dropped for well, I didn't drop, but the pre-order went up for the figure arts.
Oh yeah, the pre-order went up for figure arts. Ant-Man, that looked incredible.
Yeah, you know what? I was talking to my man, E. Rivera, and I was telling him, I'm like, yo, basically Ant-Man is just like a camel rider. They can't fuck that up, and it's gonna be nice. It's basically that type of design.
Yeah, they're used to doing that bug helmeted hero character.
I think the helmet on him looks really nice. I like that you can see through the goggles and into his eyes. I think
Oh
looks
yeah,
really
that
cool.
was cool. When Advocate showed that off in his unboxing, that the goggles are actually clear, so you could see his eyes, and it looks like Paul Rudd's face in there. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, that was a nice touch, definitely.
What do you guys think of the size though? Is he a little too small?
I don't know. I said this somewhere else too. I think that they trying to get you to pair that Build-A-Figure up with these shitty 3/4-inch figures. So they don't really care about it scaling with the Legends. And then again, we don't know how it's going to be in the movie. He might not be 10 stories tall and shit. He might just be on some.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to actually get a Build-A-Figure that's going to be gigantic to a 6-inch figure anyway, or 6.25-inch figure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way Toy Biz had to do it. They separated fucking thighs and biceps and
yeah,
it wasn't as Yeah, it was some shit. You know, it
And you
wasn't.
had to buy the same figure twice. You had to get the figure and the variant to get
Yeah, you had to get a
two different
figure
pieces.
and the variant. Obviously the size isn't ideal, but it's cool. You know, it's double the size of a legend. That's good enough, I suppose. You know, like Book said, we don't really know how tall this dude is in the movie. For all we know, he never gets bigger than that.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that my only complaint was I was thinking that maybe they could have sold that Ant Man, or should I say Giant Man. They could have branded it for the Marvel Universe figures and made him as tall as the Goliath, and then maybe put something else. I don't know what they would have done to make a different builder figure, but I don't know. Or I just wasn't really. I'm just not really impressed with too much that's going on with that line besides of the three comic figures.
Yeah,
That's really what.
pretty much. I mean, I never get excited for the Marvel Legends movie figures anyway, so I really don't
No.
care. But
I mean, it's only because that Black Panther has such a nice head sculpt and what looks to be great sculpting on the body that I still want it because those hands are terrible. But I'm willing to excuse it because the head sculpt looks great
yeah, the head sculpt looks very, very
and
good.
and the body
Right.
looks good. It's just going to be let's be perfectly honest. You know, at least for me, it's just going to be a placeholder until the Figure Arts one comes out.
Yeah, no question.
So,
I mean, I might try to what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the silver gold, and I might try and put him in with my comic figure.
Yeah, that might look nice actually.
You know, I've been looking for. I mean, I like the Black Panther that released a year and a half ago, maybe whatever. But I've been trying to find a replacement for the first T'Challa figure from Marvel Legends. I've been trying to replace that thing because
Yeah, that's
sometimes
the one I've still got.
yes, all I don't know.
I'm hoping that a customizer can cast the first Black Panther's hands and just switch them.
I think they're gonna be too small. That Black Panther figure looks to be a little tall.
You know
The
what? You
movie
might be
one?
able to just heat and pop.
No,
Maybe.
you can't heat and pop. Which Black Panther figure are you talking about, Rick? Are you talking about the black and gold one?
No, I'm talking about the one with I'm talking about the one with the one that
Oh,
2099 is the same mold of. Because you still get the claw, but you don't get it
you
like
talking about the
arthritis.
classic Black Panther with the blue highlights?
Yeah,
Right.
blue highlighted one.
Okay, okay, the
I want
Hasbro
to
one.
switch those hands and paint it.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, that might be. Will's right. You might can heat and pop it. It really
Yeah,
depends on how big that forearm actually is.
yeah, true. I'm gonna definitely try to switch it out because I'm not with that arthritis finger at all. He looks like a cat that's stretching after sleeping for a while, like
Or
all
you can, I
curled
mean,
up and shit.
worst case scenario, man, heat it up till it's pretty much putty, and then mold and shape it the way you want to, and hit it with the
Oh,
cold water.
yeah, that's a very good point too. I could just wait to heat it up really well on my end and flatten it out more. Yeah, for sure. That's just as good too.
Because if no one casts it, you really don't want to be trying to pay fucking. How much does that figure cost now, man? Like $80 and shit, $60.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Um, I've
I do
been
like the
I've
sculpting on that Ant-Man, though, or that Giant Man. It's got really nice texturing on the suit, from what I could tell.
Yeah, great sculpt. Like we said earlier, that face sculpt under it is a big surprise.
Oh,
It could have been very easy for Hasbro just to cheap out and not shown us what was inside the goggles.
the only purpose that figure serves for me is because when I put it with the figure arts one, I'm going to need a giant size one. I know figure arts isn't going to do one, so
Yeah, that's true.
that's gonna work out well for me. But I do not want to have to buy Iron Man or Captain America for those figures. And my son has pretty much given up on Marvel action figures. He just came and dumped his whole bin of figures in here. Like,
Damn,
I
why
don't,
why why
growing
would he
up.
give up on them?
no, he likes wrestling. He didn't dump shit in here that's wrestling. He just came in here and dumped all the Marvel shit and the DC shit. Like he doesn't want it.
Hey, Daddy, I don't want this dude no more.
Hey man, it's not the first time he's done it. He's when he was really young, Iron Man 2 with the suitcase armor. I bought him the figure, and I guess he was thinking like the suitcase was gonna really jump off the figure or some shit. I don't know. He threw it in the basement. I don't know, the kid's weird, man.
High expectations, low reward.
Right.
What's that? What's that? Hulkbuster that's coming out where the chest opens up and it's
Comic Cave.
Comic Cave.
Shit looks
that's the
crazy.
comic one, right? Yeah.
Now I could see Figure Arts putting out a Giant Man, put it around the same, maybe a little less as the Hulkbuster. Actually, probably significantly less than
I mean,
Nobody
I don't know.
Still, it could happen.
for
Has
Giant Man.
Figure Arts done something like that before? That size like that?
It would have to be like a partnership
Yeah,
figure, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can't remember anything that they've done that scales like that.
Could be breaking new ground for them. That's always a good thing.
Just bigger figures?
I mean, bigger figures within the
Yeah,
same.
but they've done larger figures. They have no problem doing larger.
No, but bigger. You know what I mean? Bigger figures within that scale, though.
I mean, you can't do a Giant Man scale. Giant Man's fucking huge in that movie. Like, Giant Man would have to be like 2 feet tall.
No,
Right.
within,
You think he'll be that big?
Yeah, he's pretty big.
no. I'm saying they
Conceptual
could,
artwork, he's like a skyscraper.
no, they could do it in the same scale as the Legends. I wouldn't expect. We just talked about that. I wouldn't expect them to do it.
Oh no, Bandai wouldn't do anything half-assed like that. They would go all the way, and they were gonna do it. They would show off a huge one and never release it. In worst case, they would make a prototype for one that's 2.5 feet tall, and it'll just never come out. So that's just Bandai. So
Bondi they're dicks. If they did that to us, but you know, seriously though, who the fuck is gonna buy 2 foot tall Giant Man?
Somebody will.
The same people that'll buy a 2 foot tall Hulk from NECA.
I'm not. I wouldn't. I mean, seriously. I mean, $100 for it.
I won't be
NECA
$100. It'll be way
No, I'm
more.
saying like if NECA was to do it and say, hey, okay, we did Giant Man, here he is, $100. Not a problem. But I'm
Well,
not.
they would probably do an 18-inch when Ant-Man. You just buy that and just use that as your Giant Man.
Yeah, it's conceivable.
Yeah, just do that. I mean, that'll be fine. That NECA's at least good for that, right? I mean, they do those large 18-inch figures. And you just buy that, and that would be like the best-selling one probably, because a bunch of people who don't normally buy 18-inch figures would buy that one.
Right.
But you know what's crazy about it? NECA does all of this shit so late, man. It's like you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't really give a fuck to have them now. I got the Legends one.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 1,000,001 shots with them. Do I really want to go and spend $100 on this Ant-Man that I'm or Giant Man, wherever the fuck? You know.
You could say the same for Tamashi, who are doing a Pacific Rim line 2.5 years after the movie.
No, you can't say that because I really feel that NECA seriously dropped the ball with that line. That line sucked. Besides the Kaiju or whatever, those Jaegers, those were not good figures.
Well, that's a great segue into talking about this little dust up that they had on Twitter over the past week. NECA and
Tamashi Nations.
Tamashi Nation. So for
On
those
Twitter,
that don't know, NECA's been doing the Kaiju, been doing the Pacific Rim line, and now Bandai's supposed to be, or they're hinting that they're going to be tackling that line, which should be really interesting.
They don't have the license. They want to do it.
Well, if they get it, it would be pretty interesting. Obviously, they've done really well with the Monster Arts, the Godzilla figures, and they obviously know how to do those figures.
They've been doing it for like 40 years.
Right. So yeah. Basically, what happened was, well, I mean, you say what happened because it started from your video, from you guys' interview.
yeah, there was some fighting words thrown.
Basically, in my interview, I asked about other U.S. licenses, and Adam Newman, who is the head of the international operations for Tamashi Nations, they've made it no secret in the past that they would love to do Pacific Rim. And they would offer a figure, of course, that would be more high-end, a more highly engineered figure than something like NECA, which is a more of a low-end offering, but, more for the mass market type stuff that they wanted to do. And basically, he kind of, in my opinion, was a fairly friendly jab, basically said, oh, we just want to show NECA how it's done. And, of course, being, the fandom, there were suddenly memes being made and tons of stuff. And it made it back to Randy. And Randy on Twitter these, in my opinion, these NECA guys who've never touched a Tamashii product in their life don't understand the level of engineering and the fact they're higher end figures. We're basically bashing Bandai. Basically, they were dick riding Randy and everything. And Randy, if I don't know if anyone on here knows Randy, Randy gets offended really easily. This guy's really sensitive. He's a nice guy as long as you're praising him. But if you start, he can get very defensive. Again, he's a very prideful guy. He honestly, considering I've heard him many times say meaner things about other companies, basically bashing them, saying, "Oh, well, our stuff looks way better than everyone else's stuff on the shelf," that type of stuff.
At 1/3 the cost or whatever.
Oh, no. I'm just speaking of just Randy in general.
Oh, okay. In general.
Where he's comparing himself to Hasbro stuff and Mattel stuff, basically on the Toys R Us shelf, basically saying that his stuff. And like I said, he's pretty outspoken. So for him to get so insulted because someone basically said something that I didn't consider was kind of a friendly jab, again, they are direct competitors. At the end of the day, as someone who does marketing and stuff, you have to make your product look good. I mean, in any speech I've always given, even if I didn't feel as harsh as I was, I would have to bash Microsoft because I'm on the Sony side. So it's just how it is. I mean, it can be a friendly thing. It doesn't need to be but he took great offense to it and even got as far as say something like along the lines of, "I never see him. Wanted to say that shit to my face." Type of thing. Randy got really worked up. I spoke to Adam about it afterwards, and Adam actually felt pretty bad about it and felt that it was kind of taken out of context. I mean, it is what it is. Randy is a sensitive guy about it, and I mean, nothing really happened. It just kind of just went on for those day or two, and then just kind of died off. I mean, there's still some people on the kaiju community, like people argue. It just existed long before any of the stuff was even said between Adam and Randy. The kaiju community always compares the NECA, the NECA Godzillas versus the SH Monster Arts. And again, at the end of the day, NECA, they offer a pretty good product, especially for the price. The value is always going to be there with their stuff. Of course, there's breakage issues sometimes, or more often than not. But at the end of the day, they offer a product that a lot of people, it's accessible to a lot of people, and that's why people feel the need to defend them and everything. And that does for something like the Tamashii Nations, the Bandai stuff. I think it really comes down to it being more of a higher end item. It's more expensive, it's more premium. It's up to the person to feel it. Like I've said it many times in the past, it's up to the person who's buying it to feel if they're getting a good value. If it's worth it for you to drop $80 on one really pretty nice, really nice figure, or $40, $80 on maybe 3 or 4 figures, which are not as nice, but you're getting 3 or 4 figures. So it's a kind of different perspective on stuff. Again, Pharaoh on here has basically said in the past that he'd rather just right from the beginning drop that $50, $60, get the figure he wanted from the beginning, instead of spending the $25 for something which he considers is a placeholder until that $60 figure comes out anyway. So, because once he has a $60 figure, he just kind of tosses the $25 figure. But then, for some people, they like the $25 figure and they're cool with not having the $60, $80 figure. So that's okay too. So there's no right or wrong answer, but of course it's something that when people's collections and what they can afford, come into play, people will get defensive, and that's just basically what happened here. So.
I think that was, I don't know. When some of the comments, I was on the NECA Facebook page.
Okay.
A lot of those guys, they like NECA. I don't understand the draw to having to take offense if anything threatens the company. I just
every fandom gets threatened. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. People get defensive over what they like. They take it personal. It's just how it is. I mean, everywhere it's like that. The thing is, it's like I said before. There isn't really a right or wrong answer, but people just like to choose. People like to choose sides, and that's basically what this is.
Mhm.
Well, I
You
told some of those, I told some of those guys on the page. I said, well, let's just be honest. I can understand that whole price point aspect, but if Bandai decides to actually make or actually gets a license and make these figures, they're going to be better than NECA figures, hands down. I said, I don't. I mean, you're talking about Bandai and you're talking about giant robots. Like, it's a given.
Yeah, no question about it.
Or anything like, yeah, I was like, I don't. That's not even a competition for them.
Not to mention that the scale that Bandai is gonna would do them in is gonna scale much better if you're trying to do toy photography, A.C.B.A. You trying to do anything, within that when that scale is gonna be much easier. You're gonna get more movement out of the figure. There's no
Hmm.
question about it.
Most definitely. And I was
Yeah, I
telling
mean the figures
Fabio,
will definitely have more engineering. They'll have more features like opening up panels and option parts and things like that. Again, at the end of the day, it really is. This is the greatest case of you get what you pay for. That is what it is. I mean, you pay $20, you get a figure that's pretty decent. It's not a bad figure. It's has a detail and stuff like that. It doesn't come with a ton of accessories because again at the end of the day it's $20. I mean, what do you expect? And then you have another figure that's $80. If they did Pacific Rim, I'm assuming they'd be like $70, $80. That's just my guess. And I mean, you'll get like a lot more options and stuff like that. But you're also paying $80, so you kind of expect that it would be a higher quality product.
And
Yeah,
it also comes back to that classic argument of like cheaper figures or less expensive figures, but more character selection. Like I doubt if Tamashii gets the license that they're going to do weird kaiju like Horizon Brave or Romeo Blue. Like they're probably just going to
Well,
do the core ones.
and the reason of it being cheaper figures is because people would be okay. It's like I said about the Street Fighter, the the Street Fighter figures by Storm Collectibles. It's the sad reality that okay, it's great that we're getting these really nice figures, but it is also something of a concern of when I said that it is a concern of are we going to get anything past the A-list characters?
right.
Because
Right?
as
Yeah.
much as as much as we love, we want to see the whole roster done. I mean, you see some motherfucker want to pay $80 for T-Hawk. You get what I'm saying? Or at least enough people. I mean, of course, there's going to be those guys who want to buy everything, who want to get every character. But then, at $80, some people are like, oh, at $80, I only want to get, the normal, the A-list guys, your Ryu, your Ken, your Goki, Chun-Li, Cammy, Sakura, Ibuki, all the four bosses, you just want to get just those guys. You don't actually want to spend, $80 to get Oro or to get, T-Hawk or any of those.
how popular was Pacific Rim in Japan?
It was decently popular. I think Pacific Rim is one of those licenses where the fandom is big enough, like as far as they're willing to pretty much buy anything. It's a strong merchandising license. The movie itself did okay, but it has the merchandise audience. People want to buy figures for it. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like, perfect example. You have something really popular back in the day, like something like Lost TV series, which is a big TV series. Everyone loves to watch it, but it's not necessarily a license where people want to buy toys from because it's just normal-looking dudes. It's that kind of thing. It's not something where it would sell toys. While something like Pacific Rim sells toys. I mean, personally speaking, I think the designs are just okay. I think Bandai. The movie is a good movie. I like the movie a lot. I think Bandai would do very well with it if they decided they wanted to do it. I don't know how well the kaiju would do. Again, it's like Fabio said, outside of like your popular ones like Knifehead and stuff like that. I don't know which ones how well they would sell to really justify them doing $100 figures of these kaiju. I don't know how well they would do. I think the Jaegers they would probably get pretty far. The thing about the Jaegers that some of them. Some of them people just like the design and they just want to get them. I think the Jaegers would probably Bandai would do very well with. But I mean, like I said, they seem like they're pretty passionate about how much they like it. Again, I think if they were going to do it, they would have already done it by now, so I don't actually see them doing it anytime soon. I mean, maybe we have a big surprise coming at SDCC, but as of right now, I don't think we're actually getting any Pacific Rim figures from Bandai anytime soon. I just think that they would like to do it. It's just not happening right now. So
I agree that the fan base has been really keeping the line going because, yeah, like I said, it's 2.5 years after the movie.
Yeah, I think,
and still they're going strong with the line. Like they have the Ultimate Gypsy Danger coming out. They have the Mutavore, which is that flashed on screen when it destroyed the wall in Australia, like obscure shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're getting to it because people are still buying these figures. The only Pacific Rim figures I've ever seen peg warm are the ones actually in store right now, and that's because they're both Gypsy Danger repaints. It's the
battle damage one and
the battle damage Anchorage Attack, and then the Antiverse with which I have one of, and I got it when it first came out, and now if I wanted to buy another, it would be no sweat.
Yeah.
But I do want to see the line go a little bit farther because
Pacific Rim is very similar to something like Alien and Predator. I mean, those movies are way past, but people still love those designs. They still want to buy figures from it. It's something that works well for NECA. I mean, they have those licenses like Predator and Alien, and you know they can always do figures. You can always keep xenomorphs on the shelves. You can always keep certain Predator figures on the shelf. They can pretty much sell them forever.
Right.
So, and those skeletons you can always sell, no matter what. I mean, 5 years from now, you can still sell it, no problem. So it's RoboCop. You can probably the regular RoboCop. You can also always sell. So I mean, there's those certain licenses where they're strong merchandising licenses, and Pacific Rim is, I mean, NECA jumped on it right away, and they got the license and they're doing figures, and they're doing well with it, and good for them. I mean, they're putting it out. They're putting out a reasonably priced product where a lot of people. I mean, the one thing where I would say that I always considered that the Monster Arts Predator, as far as engineering, is a better figure than your NECA Predator. But the NECA Predators, I mean, they're so much cheaper. There's so many more of them. They're bigger figures, and I just think people were just adjusted to those figures already. That even if the Bandai one is, in my opinion, slightly better as far as engineering, not as far as paint like detail and stuff, because Japanese companies, especially Bandai, are much more accustomed to very clean, very sleeker looking things, and Predator is something that's a little more dirty, a little more grittier, and I think they're getting the hang of that now, but it's still a learning process for them. And I think one of the reasons why the Monster Arts Alien and Predator stuff never really took off is because people were already okay with the NECA ones, and while again the figures, the Bandai ones on paper I would consider are better, it's the perfect example of people are happy with the $20 figure that they have, and $20 figures actually for the Predators they've been doing for so long, those figures are really good. They've done a great job on those, and that's why it's one of their staple lines. And at this point, I consider it's one of the lines that they'll always be doing. They'll always be doing that, like Alien.
Well, let me say this: while you're on the subject of the Predator, I think that the reason why the Monster Arts Predators and things didn't do that well is because that figure sucked. I mean, it looked. I mean, it had more accessories or whatever, but that figure was put together horribly. It was just
it's like a lot of parts fall off really easily,
right?
Stuff like that. It's not their comfort zone. I mean,
it didn't move as well as I would have liked it to move. Really,
Right.
you thought you was going to get this highly articulated, it's like.
Well, at the same time, the next ones
but
don't look that articulated either.
The articulation was.
But they look good, huh?
No, you're right. The NECA figures aren't highly articulated, but the one thing about the NECA figures are you can get them in pretty standard poses outside of not having a diaphragm joint. The diaphragm joint,
I get what you're saying.
The leg and arm movement, it was better than. And you know what it really was? I think that when they designed the figure, they had too many overlaying parts. So it's like certain parts of the arm was like a hollow piece that went around another piece of plastic. So when you got the movement, it was all like, I just wasn't feeling it or whatever. But.
Well, I mean, they admit defeat in that, where they didn't do as well with those figures. That's why I don't see them anymore. So I mean, in that sense, they were never able to capture that audience that NECA has captured with the Alien and Predator figures. So
Wasn't there supposed to be a variant of the Monster Arts one, but it never came out?
no, it
Or
came
did
out.
it come out?
They,
Oh,
they,
okay.
they did two. They did two versions. One was a web shop exclusive, which came with, I guess, the later. It's like the second half of the movie. Scar Predator, Wolf Predator, and then the
Wolf,
regular
yeah.
Wolf Predator from the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Right, one had more gear and stuff than the
Yeah,
other.
and they did a couple of different aliens, and that was it. And that was, they didn't do any more beyond that. So.
You know what? The Predator, it looked really nice. I still have it on display in my living room detail, just just in a vanilla stance or whatever with all the gear and stuff on. So it's nice looking, but it just wasn't ideal for any dynamic posing or really too much A.C.B.A. anything like that. And I actually have 3 of the alien figures too.
The Monster Arts ones?
The alien wasn't that bad. I just think that
It was the tail. It was the
small
tail with the
compared to the
aliens.
Predator. That's what it was with me. That alien was pretty damn small, man.
It was. I thought it was scaled all right. It was just the tail was just not as functional as it could have been. It should have been better. It should have been able to. It should have been more articulated and be able to bend and kind of get out of the way. Oftentimes, if you want to do something with it, you will display it without the tail because it just gets in the way. Really, it just doesn't move as well as it could have. It was a good attempt. I wouldn't mind seeing them try to tackle it again and get it right, but. What you gonna do?
No, I think I mean, who knows if they'll tackle it again. But again, Bandai, their comfort zone again for at least this like those type of products are usually the hero figures, like your masked heroes and stuff like that. That's like the thing they do best. So robots, masked heroes, I guess they've always been doing like certain anime stuff they do very well. Certain anime stuff they don't do well. A lot of the current, in my opinion, the current anime figures, I don't think for the current shows, I don't think they do that well. But they're very good with the licenses that they've always worked with, stuff like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, One Piece. They do that stuff really well. Everything else they're working with right now. Like I said, they have a different aim than something like a Good Smile Company, which focuses a lot more on the newer anime stuff. So.
All right, we're getting close to the top of the hour. We're gonna have a guest come on, but real quick, I just want to talk about Photo Combat, which the first round host date is today. So if you are competing in the tournament, you need to have your entry emailed in by 11:59 Eastern Time today, Sunday. March 6, 2016, 11:59. You have until 11:59. If it comes in at 12 a.m., it'll be March 7th, and you will be late. Refer to your packet that you got with all of the rules and regulations and information, and it will have the email that you need to submit your entry to. You need to make sure you have your main shot, which will be your A shot. You got to have a B side, and you have to have a C side. The B and the C side won't be judged, but it's basically your proof to say that you did everything 100% tangible, and to kind of just give the judges an idea of how you did something in case it looks a little suspicious or whatever. So yeah, I think Fabio's in Photo Combat. I'm in Photo Combat as well, and we both need to submit entries when we get off here. Pharaoh's judging.
Now, just to clarify, I saw David Walton post that it was midnight, or 11:59, I guess, in Pacific time, not Eastern.
I don't know about that.
I commented to see if that was correct, but he hasn't replied, so I just want to make sure.
As far as I know, everything is Eastern time, as far as I know.
Okay, I'll have to look through the packet again, I guess. Might say there.
Look, don't get me to lying. I was under the impression it was Eastern time, and that's what I was shooting for. I should have mine done within an hour after we get off this call anyway, so I'll be there regardless. But don't start me to line. So many people have been asking me questions, and I don't know what's going on. There's a separate email. There's a separate people that put it together this year. I wasn't involved at all in the planning, so I could compete. So I don't know anything. Stop asking me shit. You my enemy.
Oh, I actually forgot about that you were competing, so that's cool.
But yeah, it should be fun. I had a good time just kind of getting back into it and getting frustrated and meeting the deadlines and I actually had fun uh, doing this. So regardless of what happens, I definitely had a good time set on my first entry. So
That's what it's all about. I mean, just because it's competition doesn't mean it's not fun driven. You
right.
know, it's still about having fun with your figures. But
You know, it's cool to talk to other people and shit. I talked to Al Chang yesterday. He was still finishing up his, and he was talking about who he was competing against. And I talked to Solid a little while ago, and he said he had just sent in his entry. And you know, it seems like overall everybody's taking it in stride and having a good time. People taking it serious, obviously. You know, it's a lot of cash and prizes on the line, but I think for the most part everybody's having a good time. And you know, that's like you said, that's what it's all about.
Solid's actually going to he's doing some shots.
Yeah, you know what? He's competing against the young homie. I always forget his name. I think he's like Toy Zoology on Instagram.
oh, him, yeah, yeah, he won my contest a couple weeks ago.
Right. So
It's
yeah,
Mohammed Khalid, I think.
right. I'm pretty sure that Muhammad Nurala sponsored him in the competition too. So
Damn, that's Muhammad for Muhammad support.
right.
Cute.
Word up.
You know,
So,
Muhammad's got to look out for Muhammad.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out in the boonies. He lives in Saudi Arabia.
really?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh shit.
So he was real stoked to get the Amazon card because it's a little hard to get the stuff he wants out there. Like I was trying I was talking to him about getting a light box, and none of the light boxes available on Amazon actually shipped to him. So
Damn.
it's tough out there. The actual desert.
He's gotta hook up with somebody to send it to him from the States then.
That's what I said. That's why you're supposed to be a player about it and go ahead and order it for him and send it out there to him.
Yeah. Let them ship it to your house and send it out to him and shit.
Fabio like, man, shut the fuck up.
I mean,
Don't give this out.
I'm a generous benefactor. I'll do it.
Don't give him any ideas.
Right.
Like, don't spend my money, motherfucker.
No, I might actually have to do that because I've been looking around for fucking Amazon cards, and not a single store in my area has like Amazon gift cards. So I'm probably just gonna, I don't know, I'll have to figure something out.
That's crazy though. Again, you know, that speaks to the range and shit of the community and just how like connected we are worldwide with people and shit. Like, you know, that's pretty nuts, man.
Yeah, we're not on some high horse shit. Just because, you know, we're on the podcast and you guys hear our voices every week doesn't mean we're above everyone. I mean, like you said, Boog, you're competing this year and you have nothing to do with the tournament, so you're on equal ground with everybody. It's not like you're Boog or you're fucking above everyone and, you know, everyone's sipping your Kool-Aid. That's not it at all.
And I don't got no easy matchup and shit too. I got Tommy Salts in the first round, and it's
Jesus Christ.
Right.
What a first round.
Honestly, there's some shit going on with the matchups because some people got some crazy matchups and others are just
some crazy first round matchups, no question.
I mean, I got Mr. Sam Sanchez, Toy Inc. on Instagram, and he's someone that I've been following for a bit. He runs the Toy Syndicate feature page on Instagram.
You could display, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and I've talked to him. He actually did a little interview with me for that Instagram feature page. So, you know, I've been talking to him since, and he's a good dude. He's real funny. He listens to the podcast. He listens to Sinestro's podcast with Toy Addict and Bodega Joe. So he's heavily involved in the community. It's not like he's sleeping. He has no resources.
I'm glad he got involved though. So I've been following his Instagram for a while too, though. But he definitely knows how to display and shit. So you don't.
And he just joined Plastic and Paint. So shout out to him.
Yep. I saw that too.
Speaking of sipping Kool-Aid, Plastic and Paint.
So yeah, we about to have a guest on. Whenever he's ready, he could come on in, and we're gonna talk about this Kickstarter campaign.
This endeavor he is embarking on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and guys in the live chat, if you guys want to start compiling your questions, we are going to have a Q&A section at the end. So if you like what you're hearing from the Cryptid Toys people, you know, compile our questions and send them at the end, and then we'll address all that because we only have a few. We need you guys to fuel the Q&A.
Yeah, we tried to make our questions, you know, little as possible so that we can get all the viewers watching to ask as much as they want or complain as much as they want or praise as much as they want. You know, it's not about the panelists, because if we really wanted to, we could ask them those questions whenever. You know, it's about you guys watching and asking what you guys want to ask of Cryptid Toys.
All right. While we wait for him to come on, I
I
got
was going to ask, have you guys been checking out the campaign page? I think it's tracking pretty well at this point.
where are they at right now as far as funds raised? You know.
Last I saw, which was yesterday, they had just hit about 31K. Let's see where it is now. 34K. And it's not a lofty goal either. It's 125K. So
Right.
that's
So that's definitely attainable. No question about it.
How long has it been running?
26 more days. So it's been running for about 4 days now.
Yeah, 4 days, $30-some thousand. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. They on track. No question.
We already know Solid's ass is gonna come in and donate like 25% of what they need anyway.
Basically,
Donate
Solid
to the
you got those fucking Plan B toys that he never fucking opened. The SWAT teams from them.
Yeah. I remember that son of a bitch showed like a full tub of Plan B shit, just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, these look like they'll definitely be better than Plan B though.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Hey.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man.
Hey, how are you all?
What's up? Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
being here, man. So, introduce yourself, man. Give the viewers an idea who you are and what you got going on.
Okay,
This is
so
your show
I'm,
now.
I'm Austin. I started Cryptid Toys. I have a Kickstarter campaign running for Army Alphas, which is a 6-inch line of army builders that I would like to make a reality, hopefully with all of your help.
That's what we're here for, man. We're here to hype people up on this product and answer any questions, concerns, and receive any comments that they might have. So, we have a few questions of our own before we get there, and then the Q&A will fuel the last half of the show or so. But guys in the panel, if you guys have any questions, I think now's the good time.
Yeah, Boog, why don't you hit him up with yours first?
Well, my first question was I just want to know what your background is and action figures and toys and who is actually are you sculpting everything or just trying to get an idea of exactly I mean obviously I know you're running a show, but I just want to know how hands-on you are with everything and kind of your background too.
Okay, no problem. So I've been a collector for several years, probably like 10 years now, multiple lines, Marvel Legends from the beginning. That's my main line that I collect.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into customizing a few years back, been doing that. And, since Legends was my main line that I collected, I just always, loved the army builders like other people and wanted to bring more of those to the market. So that's why I started Cryptid Toys, and that's why I'm doing this campaign. And I'm not actually sculpting the figures. I'm freelancing out the sculpting to other people. I have some great sculptors that have done work. Adrian Melton has done the skeleton and all the accessories. Dan Mitchell has worked on the soldier and SWAT figure. And yeah, so it's not all me doing this. I have my hand in a little bit of everything, orchestrating things, running the campaign, but no, I'm not sculpting these directly.
Gotcha. My other question was, I guess we kind of gonna be all over the place, but we all have kind of our separate questions. But I saw originally that you guys had put up, some specs of the figures, and then maybe a couple of weeks. I mean, you guys been teasing this for a while. Obviously, I see that you guys let articulated icons do their thing, and that kind of die out before you took your run at it, which was definitely a smart move. But I saw that you guys added articulation, or said that there would be added articulation to the figures once they go to production. Now, was that something that you guys were going to do all along, or was that something that you decided to add on after some of the fans said some things, or was that just the original plan?
That was a little bit of both. Definitely that was a big oversight. I don't know why the decision was made on my part to do them without the bicep swivels and double jointed elbows. After I got those first samples in hand from the 3D printer, they just weren't nearly where they needed to be articulation wise. And so then went back to the drawing board, had some modifications made. So now those do have bicep swivels, double hinged elbows, and the thighs and hips have been thickened a little bit because people were saying that the upper legs were looking a little too slim. So those changes have been made. And while the fully painted prototypes that can be seen on Facebook, Instagram, and the Kickstarter page do not have those changes. The final figures will. And there's a gray primed prototype up there. There's turnaround pictures, and there's an articulation diagram that does show the updated sculpt with the added articulation.
Gotcha. So pretty much everything we would expect from a typical male legend figure as far as the points of articulation, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's got all of that. Rocker ankles, of course, the swivel thighs, double knees, 90-degree hips, wrist swivels in each direction. The right hand has up and down, left hand has side to side.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's got all of that.
So you guys added the up and down sort of like for military, so they can hold the gun in like a military position.
Right. It makes posing with a gun in the hand a lot easier and more realistic. So that right hand has that.
I like that you guys did that because, I mean, listening to fan reaction is obviously like a very important step of these kinds of campaigns. And I don't know if you collect the Black Series Star Wars figures, but those original Stormtroopers, so you know what I'm talking about, those original Stormtroopers had the double jointed elbows. Everyone loved them. Then I've got the First Order ones right here in front of me, single jointed elbows, and I can't get them to hold a gun in a realistic, naturalistic pose.
Right.
So and everybody complained, everybody. So it's a good thing that you guys did that.
Yeah, and that was definitely one of the goals throughout the development of this line has been listening to fan feedback and criticism and trying to make this what the most people would like to see.
So is that what led you guys to create the Army Alphas line, as far as recognizing that collectors need an army builder line of generic soldiers and SWAT and even skeletons? And is that like a hole you wanted to fill that you recognized existed?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the Plan B Special Forces line way back in the day, probably like what 10, 12 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Those figures are great. They weren't super articulated though. Well, for their time, they were all right. But I wanted to create a line like that people could fit into multiple collections. Whether you collect Legends, DC Universe, the DC Multiverse, or whatever it is. Just wanted something that, like a line of figures that was highly articulated, detailed, that could fit into multiple lines. And nobody else was doing it, so here we are.
Not to mention some fun stuff like the Green Army Soldier. I think that's just a fun thing. You gotta remember these are still toys and they have to be fun, and I think that's just a fun thing.
That was definitely a unique, something unique to add to the campaign. No question about it.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a fun one. The Acid Rain line has a figure like that, which is really awesome. And since I'm sure you guys are aware of how insanely expensive tooling these days is, so just trying to get as much out of each sculpt, repaints and some, just repaints and different figures that make sense. And that was just a fun one, nothing super realistic. And there's also a red soldier, the Scarlet Soldier, that's a stretch goal. Mm-hmm. That again is not really realistic, but it's just a fun figure that people might throw into their collection somewhere.
So break down what you're offering initially and what the stretch goal figures are and stuff for some people that have no clue and that are hearing about this for the first time.
Okay, so right off the bat, there are 6 figures in the initial offering. They would be the Desert Soldier, the Gray SWAT Trooper, Blue SWAT Trooper, the Green Army Man with the base, the Bone Skeleton, and the Translucent Glow-in-the-Dark Skeleton. And those 6 are available as long as the campaign reaches the funding goal of $125,000. And then there are several stretch goals that will be unlocked if the funding amount reaches those levels. And there's add-on packs with extra heads for the soldiers. There's a all blacked out Night Ops SWAT. There's the red soldier I had mentioned earlier. There's a white skeleton. And there's also a lot of other things that have not been revealed yet. I didn't want to do that too early. Once the funding goal is met, I'll probably go ahead and reveal those. There is a completely new sculpt army builder that hasn't been shown yet that I think will be really popular. So hopefully we can get to that and reveal that and unlock that.
And what's the first stretch goal? What's that amount?
The first stretch goal is $135,000, and that's the Desert Soldier add-on head pack.
Okay. So,
And that's the new skin tone and neck tone, right?
Yes, correct. And those African American heads are a new sculpt. It's not the same sculpt as the current soldier.
Oh, that's a great detail.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Didn't pull a Toy Biz and just or not Toy Biz, a Hasbro, where they just painted over the mustache Tony Stark face.
Yeah, yeah, none of that. Have to keep it as accurate as possible. And the soldier and SWAT body does have a removable neck peg, so you can just pop that out and pop the other one in.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
So the skin
that's
tones.
a,
Yeah, so
definitely
the skin
smart move.
tones of the head and necks will match.
And all of the hands are gloves, so you don't have to worry about that, right?
Right, that's correct.
That's awesome. And obviously, you said there's some stretch goals that haven't been revealed yet, but um, there's been I've been looking through your Kickstarter page, and I noticed that you guys have either funded or have funded a lot of different Kickstarters in the back, going on to Mythic Legions and going on to the Marauders and their 112 scale weapons and even articulated icons, which is something I think a lot of people are gonna more directly compare you guys to because of how soon ago it was. But
Right.
do you guys have you modeled your campaign after a lot of those either successful or well, hopefully you modeled after the successful ones, but
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
something
definitely.
you've been looking at in the past?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've supported, yeah, as you described, many of the other toy and action figure related Kickstarter campaigns, and most of them have been very successful. And in the case of Mythic Legions and Articulated Icons, they've been insanely successful, gone way past the initial funding goal. So definitely wanted to sort of model the campaign structure after those. But I also did want to try and keep the funding goal as low as possible. So, yeah, and in addition to that, I wanted to keep the price per figure pretty low too, because I know a lot of people have complained, for other campaigns, wishing that the price was a little bit lower, and that's tough to do for a Kickstarter-funded line, just because the production runs are a lot smaller, and nowhere near the massive runs that a Hasbro or Mattel can put out. So the prices will never be at retail or below retail unless you buy in huge numbers.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, I've tried to keep the funding goal low and the price per figure as low as possible.
And it's reasonable. It's definitely reasonable. That actually does lead me into my one of my kind of more lengthy questions, which is, so the pledge brackets on Kickstarter, you can get the 1 figure, the 3, the 6, the 12, the 24, and so on. So let's say
Right.
somebody wanted to get 8 SWAT soldiers. What's the correct way to go about that? Do you pledge at the 6 soldier level and then add the additional amount per soldier of that level, or do you have to add it at the individual 1 soldier level?
The first one you described is correct. If you wanted 8, let's say you wanted 8, there are options for a 6-figure pledge level and a 12. So you would back at the 6-figure level, and then at that level, since the figures are priced $24 each, you would go ahead and add $48 to your total because you want 2 above the 6 that you would get from that.
Okay. And this is something for people that have no idea how Kickstarter works because a lot of people it's still a fairly new thing, even though it's been around for a while, but
Right.
not
It's
everyone
fairly new
really
to
understands
to
how
this
it works.
community.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, to this community, not very used to it. Video games and other random inventions that entrepreneurs put up, is one thing, but this whole collectibles uh, outreach with Kickstarter is fairly new.
Right, yeah, and actually looking at the backers, because Kickstarter does show that now. It shows how many are new to Kickstarter and how many have backed other projects, and just about all of them have backed other projects. So definitely we have Articulated Icons and Four Horsemen Kickstarters to thank for helping make Kickstarter more approachable, I guess, for the toy community.
No question. Says a lot about where collecting is right now too, and how popular displaying is for these things to keep happening and to keep being successful as well. So a lot of new collectors and a lot of new display artists getting turned on to collecting. So it's a great time to try to do this. Obviously. What was the other question I was going to ask you? Sorry, I'm just drawing a blank. Pharaoh, you had a question?
I was just wondering, like, where do you see this line, like, actually going past, like, SWAT members, or are you planning to do anything else if this is successful? Like I don't know, any civilians, or do you have an actual plan of where to take the line, or is this pretty much what you ideal, like just doing SWAT members and
Oh no, there are definitely plans for the future, assuming this first Kickstarter is successful, to do different types of army builders. I would absolutely love to get zombies done, male and female.
Hmm.
I think that is highly requested, and there's nothing really in the six-inch scale for that. Yeah, civilians would be great. I would love to do, all kinds of things. Prisoners.
Oh, that'd be cool.
oh,
I
that's
think those
nice.
would be fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and also variations of different types of soldiers, different SWAT, police, possibly different skeletons with some kind of armor or something. I think the possibilities are endless as long as the fans come out and support and demand more.
And
I would,
someone in the live chat just asked like bank robbers or thugs. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, those would be awesome. Get some ski masks on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
of
you
our
have
admins. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's easy as well. You just have one body and just have the swappable head to have a lot of options off of $1. So the tooling, wouldn't be insane. Like you make a robber, you make a prisoner. You kind of just make those add-on pieces, and you don't have to tool a new body every time you want something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why the neck pegs were made removable. So the necks and heads from future figures offered down the line, possibly in this Kickstarter too, can be used on the SWAT figures and soldiers and things like that.
Well, that brings up a couple other questions. Actually, one of our admins just sent me a couple questions in a PM. He was asking why weren't there any black African American SWAT, but I'm guessing that you might be able to do some swapping down the line. Is that what you anticipating or what?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
the neck pegs are for that you just discussed. But
Right.
yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Right. Yeah. I'll drop it here. That is one of the stretch goals. It's not revealed yet. Is an African American SWAT head.
Cool.
And
Oh, exclusive. Y'all heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Yeah. So assuming we reach past the currently revealed stretch goals, there's that, and there's many other things to come.
The other question was, we see that you guys have the figures up with Big Bad Toy Store now, while the Kickstarter campaign is still running, and we just want to know how beneficial that collaboration is with Big Bad Toy Store. Is it kind of like cannibalizing your profits right now, or how does that work? Because usually, people may wait to after the campaign, or they may choose to not even go through another online retailer while the Kickstarter is going. So, what was the strategy there?
Correct. Well, I'm actually glad you asked that. I forgot to mention that. Before this started, I heard a lot of feedback from people saying that, there's still a large number of people, even though there have been many Kickstarters for action figure lines in the past, that said they don't feel comfortable or will not ever join Kickstarter and back a project, but they would still like the figures. And then there were also people that said they weren't happy with the international shipping prices for this campaign, and the USPS did recently raise the rates, and unfortunately there's nothing that can be done there. International shipping did get considerably more expensive than it has been in the past.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I hate that, but there's nothing that really can be done for that. These figures are priced as low as they can be, and there's really no way I can eat additional shipping charges. So I reached out to Joel from Big Bad Toy Store and had these figures listed for pre-order on this site. And even if you pre-order them through Big Bad Toy Store, you're still indirectly supporting the campaign because they are making periodic contributions into the Kickstarter.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So it's not, it's not taking away from the campaign at all. The amount that gets pre-ordered will be put into the campaign before the end.
Gotcha. All right. Shout out to Joel. Joel is a friend of ours too. And I guess you answered the other question here. And then the last question I had here from my man Dallas was how closely did you guys model? I guess you kind of answered this sorta already, but how closely did you guys model your Kickstarter after the articulated icons Kickstarter? Was there any did you take any pointers from what they did right or wrong, or have you actually been in any contact with those guys? Um, you know.
Yeah, I have been in contact with them. They've been a help. They've posted on Fwoosh and things like that. And, their campaign went really well, extremely well. They didn't do much wrong, if anything, and I actually did get a lot after that ended and before this Army Alphas campaign started. I did hear from a lot of people that said they wanted the articulation diagrams made like those because a lot of people said those were extremely helpful. So that was direct feedback from people that supported that line. And, I've tried to do several repaints for stretch goals. I guess they've done that and other campaigns have done that as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think Rick had a question next, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I actually had two questions actually.
Okay.
Ooh.
A lot of times, yeah, oh yeah, you better get ready for that one, Pharaoh. A lot of times it's easy to be a fan and from the outside look in and have these preconceived notions and have these assumptions of what this industry is from a fan point of view and how it should be, and not really looking towards the reality of what you guys in the industry have to face, and what you guys have to deal with. And my question to you and as a whole is what is one common misconception that about this industry that you feel fans should understand and see from your point of view, aside from just being the guys that want to buy the product and not the ones that have to take the time and effort to put it out there and produce it.
Mm-hmm. Great question. I think the biggest thing is probably just the amount of time and especially money that goes into development costs, especially, and trying to bring figures as complex with as many moving parts to market. It's certainly gotten a hell of a lot more expensive than it was 10 years ago when we were paying like $7.99, $8.99 for 6-inch articulated figures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just the upfront costs too are just very, very high. So there's a lot that goes into it, planning and then coordinating work from many different people, sculptors, prototypers, painters, 3D printers, all of that. So yeah, I think just the amount of work and the cost that goes into it, I think.
Yeah, people get this notion, that because it's plastic it should be cheap, and that this stuff used to be worth this before, and then people do fail to realize that prices for plastic and for oil, they go up, and things cannot be as they were before, and they do, just remember the good times and don't see the reality of what this industry has evolved into throughout the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's prices across the board, not only for toys or figures, but many things. Prices have gone up for everything. Cost of labor's going up too. That impacts pricing too. So there's a lot of factors.
Absolutely. I'm sure all of us see every year, some post on Facebook or on YouTube at least once a year going viral about, working conditions and how people deserve to be paid more, which obviously they do, but that is something that directly affects all industries of anything that we get imported here, whether it's clothing, accessories, or collectibles, whatever it may be. The prices do go up from wanting that fairness and that equality over where these items are being produced.
Yeah, exactly.
My second question to you was out of this entire process, what do you feel is the most difficult part of all of this?
The waiting game right now?
Yeah, the waiting game, waiting for everyone to back this project, reach that funding goal, definitely. But probably just trying to keep everyone happy. Action figure fans are a fickle bunch. There's a lot of demands, and they get very angry if, every single demand isn't met. So try. I do read all the comments, listen to all concerns and everything, and try to.
You could say it. Nerds are a pain in the ass. That's really what it is.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
I mean, I for one am a little upset there's no African American skeletons.
And that's not the first time I've heard that.
Where's the African American skeletons, man?
It needs to have that extra little ligament in the knee that helps it run faster.
Jump higher.
Jump higher, exactly.
We had another question here from my man Dallas. He wants to know if any of the parts or the components are swappable with other lines. Like, for instance, like maybe the chest armor or something can come off and swap with other lines. Do you guys have any plans for that, or any removable parts that might be able to work with other lines?
Yeah, definitely. God, I forgot to mention that as well. The heads from the soldiers and SWAT figures actually will be compatible with the neck pegs from the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap body that's been used for, just about everything. And all of the vests are overlays. They're going to be softer plastic overlays that have snaps at the sides that are removable, and those also fit on that same Marvel Legends body.
So that's good for customizers as well, who might just want like a good best web gear for a custom or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard that, and some people would like to use these figures as stand-ins for, Cobra Troopers or something else, and they can do that, and it can change up the looks a little bit by, swapping the heads around, taking off the vests and things like that.
Definitely. Even if you wanted to turn the SWAT guy into just a generic, robber or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's a lot of possibilities, and if future figures get unlocked, hopefully they will. There will be the heads from those figures will also be compatible with the already revealed figures, so there's even more opportunities to swap parts around there.
Now, is there anything we could see in the future as far as accessory packs? Like, I was thinking like a battering ram or something for your SWAT dudes. That would be something pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard actually a lot of people voice not concerned, but just request those accessory packs and more guns and things like that. I steered clear of that for the initial things that would be offered for the funding goal and the stretch goals so far, just because Marauders attempted the 6-inch scale weapons Kickstarter, and not many people came out to support that.
No, you know what? We were actually trying to help them move that along. I don't know why it wasn't better received. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I was a big backer in that, and I was really disappointed to see that almost nobody came out to support that. Everyone requests things, but when the time comes, they don't put their money where their mouth is. So
I think in that case it might have been a marketing thing, because I honestly had not heard about that Kickstarter until like the last week of it, and I did donate money, but I saw just a lot of people that had no idea it existed.
Yeah, it could possibly be that. Yeah.
I think if they give it a go now, I think if you guys get your campaign fully funded, it might be a good time for them to jump on and try it again. Actually.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see more accessories for 6-inch figures. So, yeah. But I mean, if this campaign is a success, I have said that I will send out some type of survey or poll or something, just asking for everyone's feedback as to what weapons or accessories they would like. And I'll take all that into consideration when trying to develop future accessories and weapon packs and things like that.
Yeah, battering ram would be really dope, as with those big bulletproof shields. That would be really cool too.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I really think that it was a good move that you guys actually did avoid the accessory packs as far as guns and everything go, especially with the amount of casters out here that are casting weapons and selling them for the cheap. I think that's probably one of the problems with the Kickstarter for Marauders or whatever.
Yeah, that could be too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and with tooling so expensive, if you tool a weapon pack, that's a huge cost. And me personally, I would just like to see more figures, more unique figures rather than a bunch of accessories.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can get your weapon fixed somehow, even if you buy some cheap weapons from something else and just repaint them or paint them up or whatever. You can definitely figure out some things.
Yeah, I think so. And Legends these days are now including a lot more accessories So there's that too. So,
Yeah,
but you never
fuck,
know.
fuck the legends with those purple guns and
Oh
burgundy
god,
guns.
the brown rifle and the
Oh man.
Yeah,
They did that just to kind of reference the original character of Demolition Man, but it did not look good at all.
Yeah, not at all. You know what? I spoke to them when we were at Toy Fair about that too. But we getting a little off subject. But um, who else? Anybody else got questions? We want to take some questions from the audience.
oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope
Emiya,
the
Emiya,
Q&A.
we didn't get Emiya's questions.
Oh, he's gonna hit you hard.
Amy, are you there?
I only have one question. Basically, the breakage problems are really big in the industry these days with these type of figures. And I was curious, what types of plastic you guys are using? Are you guys using different kind? What kind of different types of plastic are you guys using, especially for the high stress parts? For the joints and things like that, to
Yeah,
avoid any kind of breakage or
yeah,
problems. You guys are new, so I'm just curious
yeah,
if you
definitely.
guys have kept that in mind at all.
Yeah, that's definitely been a huge problem. Especially not to throw them under the bus, but those Funko Legacy figures, they've all broken on me.
No, you
So,
can throw him under the bus. Go ahead.
well, I guess I just did. So, but yeah, uh, none of the clear plastic for the joints. That stuff never holds up. These will all be POM for the joints, which is the
The palm
same.
plastic, okay.
It's what?
It's a POM, which is basically very strong plastic, but it doesn't hold paint very well.
Right.
Yeah, like it's not good for painting, but it's
Right.
very
You can't.
strong.
Right. It's the same stuff that like Hasbro uses for the Legends joints.
Yeah,
Yeah. Doesn't hold paint, so yeah, it has to be made in the color, injected plastic with that color. But it is sturdier, and none of the clear stuff, that breaks and things like that.
Speaking on that subject, having somebody from the inside of the industry, we just said, there's a lot of people that use that clear plastic. Is it because that is cheaper plastic?
It is cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, because I just wondered to myself for a while, like, man, why do
and
these companies?
it's technically pretty rigid. The problem is too rigid, so if there's any stress, it just cracks instead of bending. So
That would answer a lot of questions, as to why they felt to keep pursuing that. But
as actually, I do have one other question.
Okay.
Since you guys basically are new in doing this, is there any product lines or companies or artists where you draw your inspiration from when creating your figures? Like, as far as the engineering aspect, the artistic aspect, those kind of things. Is there like an inspiration or something that comes to mind that kind of gives you guys the example you want to live up to?
Yeah, I think definitely the more recent Marvel Legends figures, they've pretty much all have got the same articulation model, which has proven to be pretty good. And these figures, the Army Alphas figures, aren't. I mean, they're realistic looking, but they're not super realistic. They're a little bit comic booky.
They kind of fit in with the Marvel Legends. It's basically your main clientele, I guess.
Exactly, correct. And that's why I also went for the part swapping ability with some of the Marvel Legends bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a quick question about like you guys did this in digital sculpting, right?
Yeah, this was all digital.
Okay, yeah. As we learned with the AI guys, it does make it a lot easier for you to go back and change some of the tooling retroactively, based on the fan response, like we discussed. So I think the changes you guys made are super necessary. So I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, I think the improvements were. I think they were big improvements, and it does improve, the look of the figures. So, yeah, the digital sculpting definitely made that possible, and it's just easier. As nice as traditional sculpting is, digital sculpting is easier to, go back and forth, make small adjustments here and there, and all that good stuff.
Now, I know this is your guys' first campaign, but how long has Cryptid Toys as a whole been together, and what brought you guys together, and where from?
Well, I pretty much am Cryptid Toys. Everything else is freelanced. But I've been working on this for months and months, probably a little bit over a year now. Just getting everything together, getting all the figures developed, sculpted, prototypes made and painted, and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, And I know a lot of people have been anxious, wanting the campaign to start, but I just wanted to wait, until the people's wallets recovered from articulated icons, because everyone pledged. I pledged several hundreds. I don't even remember how much for their campaign, and then the holidays rolled around, so just wanted to wait for just about the right time to launch this campaign.
Yeah, I was wondering, if you guys are really successful at what you're doing now, is there any chance that you guys might go after a few licenses or stand away from that type of thing?
I mean, that's always a possibility, but for now, the short-term goals are just to, get this line off the ground, get these figures made, probably another one, because, obtaining the licenses isn't always easy, and it's a little bit costly, too. So there's those hurdles to get through, but I think for now, the main focus is on Army Builders and the Army Alphas line.
So what you're saying is we're not going to get an alternate Colin Farrell head for the SWAT figures.
No Colin Farrell head for the SWAT figures, unfortunately.
I mean, you have the African American neck peg. You could easily do Samuel L. Jackson, right? Right.
Yeah, I'm sure people, if they really want it, can modify their Legends heads to fit on these neck pegs.
Yeah, the Legends, or whenever the Black Series window gets made.
I guess that's true. Now, we got a few questions coming in from the Q&A already, and this one is something that definitely you can only address, and that is, what kind of advice do you have for someone who's trying to start their own, action figure company?
Save your pennies. It's expensive. Just development costs and sculpting and all that. Unless you can do it yourself, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just expensive, and definitely, listen to the fans, since they will be your primary customers, especially, if you're going to go the Kickstarter route. Listen to your fans on social media, see what the market's asking for, and try to cater to what they want.
And someone in the chat also wants you to post a picture of the glow-in-the-dark skeleton while it's not glowing, if that's possible. I don't know if you guys have that prototype already.
No, actually, the glow-in-the-dark skeleton and the gray SWAT figures are just digital renders.
Okay.
There are no physical prototypes of those. But the glow-in-the-dark skeleton will be the same as the bone skeleton that's pictured, just with the translucent, light green glow-in-the-dark plastic.
All right, and next up, someone, Sonic Rock Max, asks if these are going to be in 6-inch scale, which we know is true, but will they be in different size, like body sizes for that scale, like buff dudes, skinny guys, fat guys, tall guys, and so on?
No, for now, it's just one standard body, for the soldiers and SWATs, and just the one skeleton body. But later on down the line, if this one's a success, other Kickstarters could, I could make different bodies for, different soldiers, different SWAT, police, whatever. But for right now, it's just the pictured body types.
Okay, let's see. Now, do you see, as far as like the stretch goals or in a second campaign, how about some like EOD bomb disposal units or some paratroopers? Is that all stuff that's possible? I mean, it sort of falls in the military range.
Yeah, those are all possible. I'm definitely looking at fan feedback everywhere, seeing what people want. So yeah, if you've got requests, put them on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'll see them, and I take all that into account when, determining what will come next.
Oh, I just had a question and I lost it. So, anyone else have any other questions as far as like the production of these figures, or what maybe what's the estimated time frame as far as shipping for these?
That's January of 2017.
Okay. That's just like making a baby. It's about 9 months, so that's about average.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you guys already have the factory and everything secure as to where they're going to be made. All of that stuff is already solidified.
Yeah. So it's just funding's the last part of this process. It's just meeting that funding goal and getting the funds to do it.
Is there an upper boot rotation on it, or is the possibility of an ab crunch in the near future?
No, there is no upper boot rotation. There is there's a ball jointed torso under those vests. On the articulation diagram, there's a little image showing that. I guess I can also post a picture of the current sculpt, the gray prototype, without the vest to show how that is. And I'm also trying to get one last part that I need to put on this gray prototype so I can either do a video showing off the articulation or a ton of photos, in different poses, holding weapons and things like that, just to show off the movement.
On the subject of photos, have you guys thought about the packaging already? Is that something you guys have finished, or maybe photography for the packaging?
No, that's not been done yet. It'll just be something simple, like a window box style package, like Star Wars Black Series, Funko Legacy, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I assume 99.9% of people will be taking these out of packages anyway. So yeah, nothing too fancy, nothing over the top, just simple window box package.
Okay, yeah, keep the cost down as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I know Big Bad Toy Store is carrying these, but will they hit retail stores? Something a little more big box in the future, if those retailers maybe want to pick them up.
That's never saying never, but right now that's not in the cards. Right now it'll just be through Big Bad Toy Store and potentially, some website or something later on if there are extras from this campaign.
Now I know we're hitting you with a lot of questions, but what would you say is the most asked question that you've gotten so far in all of this?
The most asked. Probably it's what scale are they? Everyone wants to know what scale are these. They just, I guess they just don't read, can't read, whatever.
Right.
But everyone asks what scale they are, but they're 6-inch scale, in scale with Legends and all that, DC Multiverse. And the accessory question too. Since the campaign has started, oddly enough, not much before, but since it has started, there have been a ton of people requesting accessory packs. But like I said, I'm just just a little bit hesitant to go ahead and do that because they're offered elsewhere, and that previous campaign wasn't. It didn't meet the funding goals, so.
So we're not going to see anything like effect parts for the muzzle flash for the gun.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Muzzle flash would be fun to do with an additional figure. But yeah, so possibly things like that. But I don't see in the near future any full-blown accessory packs with just a ton of weapons.
Okay. Now, are the goggles on the SWAT helmets and the military helmets, are those clear plastic or will those be painted?
Those will be painted, like the painted prototypes.
Okay. These are all just questions from the Q&A, so.
Okay.
Is QC something that you guys are going to be really looking to make sure is at the standard that you guys want to hold it at? We have these lines, like even big ones like Hasbro and Mattel, where you get these figures and they're like cross-eyed. These people can't even look straight. One is looking north, the other one is looking south. Is that something you're going to be looking at and making sure it's going to be as well as it can be once they're in hand?
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge pain. When you're paying, especially when you're paying over $20 for a figure, you get it and something's wrong, like something's horribly wrong with it, or the paint just looks like crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely something that we're going to try to do as well as possible. And these figures won't be, released to people. Won't be shipped out if, they're not as good as they can be. No floppy joints. No horrible pain or anything like that. So, yeah, QC is definitely very, very high on the priority list.
I'm assuming that you guys are getting these made in China, overseas. Do you have plans on actually visiting the factory, or you don't think that's necessary?
No, that has been talked about, and the factory is completely fine with that. And I think that is necessary to ensure production goes smoothly and to physically see samples as they come off the production line. So that will be done, assuming the funding goes through and these get produced.
Now, could we see a figure like Ghost from Modern Warfare 2 that has the skull for a mask? That would be an interesting variant, maybe for stretch goal.
Yeah, I thought about different head sculpts like that. That would be something fun. That's not in the plans right now, but definitely I've seen a couple requests for that, and like a ski mask, balaclava type head, that too. Some heads without helmets on, So there's a lot of things that I'm keeping in mind for stretch goals and future releases and things like that.
Well, it's not a question. I just say, hopefully you keep in mind some heads with actual caps for your SWAT members.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely been thought about. Might even see that in one of the stretch goals that hasn't been revealed yet. Won't say for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I looked for when I was looking at the SWAT members. I was like, I don't see anybody with a cap on. Like, but hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah, like I said, future figures, those heads and necks will be compatible. The heads will be compatible with the soldiers and SWAT, so there's some more part swapping and different choices you can do there.
Now, if you were to do another, based on the success of this Kickstarter, in the future, if you were to do a second campaign, would you be expanding on this particular line, or would you try to go in a slightly different direction?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
Definitely some unique or new sculpts in there, but definitely, maybe soldier with a different vest, different head, rolled up sleeves, different gloves, things like that.
That's cool.
New accessories like skeleton with armor maybe, but definitely some completely new sculpts as well. And that's the kind of thing that after this campaign, assuming it goes well, I can look at which figures sold the best and things like that, and which warrant additional versions down the road.
Now, just to kind of let the questions build up in the Q&A a little bit more, I wanted to ask you, what do you personally collect? What lines are you into, and what are you kind of more excited for in the future, as far as maybe stuff that's been revealed at Toy Fair?
Definitely Legends. Legends is my main line that I've collected for, since the beginning, basically since Series 2. So definitely all the upcoming Legends are looking great. NECA's putting out some great things these days. The occasional Star Wars Black Series figure.
Super occasional, like ultra occasional.
Yeah, that like once every 2 or 3 waves is pretty much what it's been. But yeah, it's mostly just those 6-inch lines.
Are you into the photography aspect of it, or do you just collect to collect?
Mostly, for years it was just collecting to collect. Never had a great camera or anything, so never really got into that. I would love to do that, get into it more. Unfortunately, I did sell just about all of my collection to help fund this line.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, so that kind of stunk, but yeah, I would love to get into the toy photography aspect of it a little bit more.
You hear that, audience? That's the passion this man has for this life.
Yeah, let everything go to start something new.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the passion.
He's willing to sell his entire lifeblood just to make everybody here happy. That's really admirable.
I will say that talking to you and hearing you speak about this line has actually sold me on it. I won't lie to you, I wasn't 100% sold on it. I have my concerns about the figures. I've addressed it here on the podcast. And hearing some of the things that you changed and even the passion that you put behind it, I can actually support you, and I hope others do too.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I'm just doing this. This is like a passion project. It's for the fans. So I'm really taking all that feedback and stuff that I can and trying to make changes to make as many people happy as I can.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope they appreciate it as well.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear from you and just kind of feel you out. I haven't made any personal pledge just yet, but I feel like all of us just in general do want to support the little guy and the independent companies and doing this stuff. It's all good for for the community in general. So really, for me, it's just a SWAT. I just want some SWAT.
Right.
I kind of want a skeleton or two, just to have them. Even if you're not posing them as living skeletons, some of them would look really cool in the background of sets.
It'll go nice with you. We didn't get anything for the Figma Link, so that would be
right
with Link and some other things,
Other fantasy displays and whatnot. It has a place.
Yeah, actually, from the Big Bad Toy Store pre-order numbers I've gotten so far, the bone skeleton has been the biggest seller by a large margin.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that one's just the one that's been fitting into most people's collections. Not just Legends or DC or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, that fantasy wing of things, that it's there's a lot you could do with a skeleton for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Someone wants to know in the Q&A if they can send you some Marvel Legends to donate for the cause.
I'll always take donations of Legends, yeah.
And someone else also asked if there's going to be the possibility of different expressions. Could maybe one of the stretch goals or a second campaign even have some yelling head sculpts, like some smirking ones.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I didn't want to do that right off the bat, because I don't want, if you have an army of soldiers, have them all have the same yelling expression or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a possibility down the road.
Yeah, having something more default like a stern face was I'm sure what you would want to have on the first go.
Right. That's what I figured.
It's like those old Hasbro Hydras that have the regular and the screaming head, and they look a little weird when they're all mixed match, maybe in like a row on your shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you have some of them saluting the other ones, like looking at the other ones sternly, disapprovingly.
Yeah.
While the other one is like yelling his ass. Ah!
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if there's any more questions, I'll be happy to take those.
Let's see. Oh, someone wants to know about like World War II soldiers.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a possibility too. I've heard some requests for that. Yeah, like I said earlier, though, just voice all your demands, what you want to see. I'll definitely read all of it, take all of it into consideration.
And as far as the paint on these, is this going to be very reminiscent of how Hasbro paints their figures, and maybe a little less like how NECA does, that it's a little more hand-painted looking?
Yeah, it'll be a little more in line with Hasbro's Legends. Some, like these soldiers, do have a lot more paint than some of the other figures. Just a lot more detailed paint jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're more in line with Legends. And they're kind of got like a little bit of slight comic booky vibe to fit in with those collections.
And are we, as far as the skin tone, also, is it going to be a painted flesh tone, or is it going to be molded in that plastic?
They will be molded in
the
plastic, right?
That's good. That's much better.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard both ways. Some people like it that way, some people don't. That just would be easier, especially with these swappable necks. If it's just molded in that color.
Here's an example of a picky nerd, like we were talking about. Someone wants Mexican-American soldiers.
There we go, the brown man.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too.
Mustache, everything.
And a sombrero. No, I mean that's definitely possible. Assuming we get to these stretch goals that aren't revealed yet, those heads you'll be able to put those on the soldier bodies too. So, you might just see something that'll work for that later on.
I had somebody ask that. I guess one of the complaints that people have with Legends is that they're wondering, what you will be doing about it is that, a lot of people have holsters and guns on body, but they're molded into the holster and you can't take them out. Is that going to be something that you guys are going to do, or are you not going to?
No, none of that crap. That's so frustrating.
Yeah, no molded fucking guns,
Yeah, that's such a waste. No, the holsters will be empty, so you can slide the guns in and out of there.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, there's nothing more annoying.
Yeah, it eliminates the paint rub as well.
All right, so how many days into the campaign right now? 4, 5?
It's about Yeah, like 5, no, maybe like 6 or so days, almost a week.
And it was a
Um,
30-day campaign, right?
right, I believe it was a little over 30. It was like 31 or 32. It runs until Friday, April 1st at
Yeah,
10
that leap
p.m.
day came in handy. Now, as far as the tracking of the campaign, how do you think it's looking so far? Are you optimistic?
I mean, honestly, like I wish it would be at a little bit higher point than it is right now. Usually there's like a bigger push in the beginning, and then it kind of tapers out in the middle, and then assuming it's right, assuming the amount so far is right before the funding goal or right after the last few days, there's usually a huge jump to get all those stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still hopeful that it'll make the funding goal, and we can get these made, but I do wish it was a little bit higher at this current point.
I think after people hear this, and just like we said about us, after hearing from what you're saying and your passion behind it, I think a lot of people are going to be a little more secure and putting their funding through. And people need to understand as well with Kickstarter is that they don't charge you immediately. So just put the pledge down now, help the campaign reach its goal, and then when it's reached the goal, you can go back and change your pledge to something a little more realistic that you actually want.
And not to mention that if you pledge the money and for whatever reason the campaign is not successful, then you actually don't lose any money. So
correct. Yeah, there's no risk on the consumer end. You just pledge the money, and you don't get charged till the end, and that's only if it does meet the goal. And by pledging earlier than later, some people just don't jump on board unless the funding is about to hit that goal.
Right.
So getting the number up the sooner will also help more people get on board.
Right, well, I mean, you got our backing. We some hard motherfuckers to please over here. So.
Yeah, we're coming off of dealing with people like Todd McFarlane and all these guys losing their minds. And,
I mean, got to keep that articulation in there. I don't know what some of these people are doing.
Right. So.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that these companies are doing, I don't quite understand. And just to see that you're seeing things the same that we are, it's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to make I'm trying to make as many collectors happy as I can.
And that's what we're here for, is to the marketing aspect of it. We don't want you to be spending a ton of money on the marketing and stuff, and that's where people like us with a considerable audience come in and can really turn people onto this kind of thing. And I think they should be onto it if they haven't even dropped it, maybe at the 3-figure level. You need to get in there, because this is something that everybody's going to want. As soon as it comes out, everyone's going to be like, oh man, I wish I had some SWAT dudes to go with my Batman or whatever. People are going to wish they had this, and it's just like any other Kickstarter. You have to get in on it on the ground level.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit offline, but we're going to wrap it up because we got a Walking Dead start, and I know people rushing to do that, and I know it's a lot of people that are still trying to get their tournament entry situated, including myself and Fabio. So we're going to wrap it up, and hopefully we'll get to talk with you again, Austin, before the campaign ends. We'll have some other forum. Maybe we'll try to get you on A.C.B.A. Saturday or something like that before the campaign ends, or maybe right after it concludes, and hopefully you guys will have exceeded your goal, and everything will be copacetic. So
okay, yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Let's talk offline though. But thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thanks for sitting down with us, man. I'm sure you cleared up a lot for a lot of people that were on the fence, and you probably hit the newer audience and some people that had no clue, this was happening at all. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me so much.
Yeah, it was really great talking to you, man. I'm really excited for these figures.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, thanks.
Anybody got anything they wanna plug? Oh yeah, give us all of the Instagram links and all of that good stuff, Austin. Hit us.
Oh yeah, on Instagram and Facebook, it's Cryptid Toys, CRYPTID Toys, and the link to the Kickstarter campaign is in the Facebook bio, Instagram bio, Twitter bio, and all that. Or if you just want to go directly, it's tinyurl.com/armyalphas.
Got it. We'll get a post up tonight on the A.C.B.A. Instagram, linking everybody to your Instagram and to the Kickstarter, and probably get one up on the on our fan page as well. So like I said,
awesome.
Right now.
And yeah, let's get a link to the Kickstarter directly at the description of this video so people watching this can go straight from there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll update that when we get off. So once again, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks to my regular guys for hanging out, and we'll all get back up next week. Anybody, Emiya, you got anything going on? Pharaoh, anybody?
Nah, man, nothing at all, man. Just happy to, that what he's doing and everything. And I'm glad he sold me on it because I do need swap members and all types of other shit. So.
No.
And Pharaoh is the hardest motherfucker to please. Of all of us, he is impossible, and you got him.
That's good news. That's good news.
He had me at great QC.
Yeah, definitely. That's huge. That's the biggest thing.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. Until next week. Peace.
Peace. Later.